character.
You look good.
Yeah, you look younger.
When did you get taller?
You look younger, I look taller.
Yeah, what the hell? I mean,
Yours is possible to look younger.
No,
It's not impossible for me to get taller.
Let's get you a chair over there, man. All right. Let me grab you one right here. I'll bring it over to you.
Microphone's even warm.
Yeah, I know. I'll bring it this side right over here. There we go. Man, what's it been? It's 2005.
Yeah,
so that
was
would be
2005.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you know how many memories I have of your studio in Los Angeles?
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. That was the greatest thing in the world, to
I
be
loved
able to
it.
fly out there and then go in the back of the Comedy Store.
I loved it. Yeah, it was some great memories. I still hang out with Rick Jackson.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
a lot.
He's a funny
actually.
guy.
He's a great guy.
Why didn't he become a comedian?
I don't know.
Too twangy?
It's nothing to do with. I don't think he ever wanted to be a comedian. He loves radio. You know what I mean? I'm Craig, by the way.
I'm Terry.
Hi, Terry. Nice to meet you too. Are you on with us? Do we share a mic? What do we do?
Oh, we just all get together and hang out. It's like doing the Craig Shoemaker show.
God, I loved it. I really loved doing that show. Yeah.
You were so far
I like
ahead of-
radio. Are we on the air right now?
Yeah.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, isn't that great?
Oh, geez. I didn't know we were. I would have been funnier
You are funny, though.
in a natural sense. Everybody's listening to our stories about Rick Jackson. Who's that? Who in the world is Rick Jackson? I've got celebrity stories. Come on.
You were so ahead of the podcast by doing
Yeah.
your radio show and how you designed your show and worked your show. So in a way, that makes you a pioneer.
Well, I guess, yeah, sure. I've got a wagon, actually, right now. I don't mean a station wagon, a real wagon with wagon wheels and a mule. Actually, that's true. My father has 75 mules.
Really?
Yeah, in the Pocono Mountains. Yeah, honestly, no, they don't sound like that. I have to correct you. They're more horse than donkey.
Okay.
I must correct you because my father, that is his business. I get serious when I talk about my mules. I remember one time I was touring the Pocono Mountains. I look on television. There he is. My father from the city pretending he's a mountain man goes, see these things are bulldozers with brains. He goes, I challenge any horse to come up here and go against my mules. He has 75 mules and a harem of women, honest to God. He calls himself the king of the Poconos.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, when you get over that comedy phase you're in, you can be part of my empire. So what am I going to be, Prince of the Poconos? I can't wait for this. Yeah, it's the strangest thing. He's got like women, and I'll tell you that he calls his harem, but so do other people. I was taking a tour. I was playing Caesars in the Poconos,
Yeah.
and the guy was giving me a tour. He goes, oh, over here you got your racquetball, and here's your basketball if you want to play that there. And he goes, oh, my gosh, there's A.J. Shoemaker and his harem. What's that nut doing here? And I get to say these words, that's my dad. And I hadn't seen him in years, and he goes up and steals my cheese tray. He goes, oh, the girls at the ranch, she'll love this. He takes my cheese tray.
Where do these characters come? Because you are a master of characters. I mean, do you hear them up here, or is it like I need to invent something?
Yeah, I do. I do hear them. Unfortunately for my wife, my therapist charges me a group rate.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there, but it all started. When I was younger, I would imitate people like. Paul Lynde was my favorite. I used to watch Hollywood. Remember that show, Hollywood Squares? And he was the center square. And my mom, my dad left when I was born. Something I said, wah, and so he had to go. It was too much for him. But my mom raised us by herself, and she was very unhappy. But she would be happy if she watched Hollywood Squares with Paul Lynde. And I actually wrote him a couple of letters. I said, you should meet my mother. Because I read an article, he was a confirmed bachelor. I said, you'll unconfirm as a bachelor if you meet my mother. And I thought he could be my dad, and we could be the first father and son team on the Hollywood Squares. That was my dream, is we'd be in the box together. I'd like Craig and Paul Lynde for the win, please. Take this one, son. It's a sports question. I'll handle the musicals. And I actually thought that would be the case. And I ended up on Hollywood Squares. I was every square except the center one. She would let me visit. She said, come on in here, see what it would be like, if he was alive. And he could have been, You know, could have been. And the only problem was I'm not a big celebrity. Is I was always Craig Shoemaker to block.
Oh, no.
One time I'm looking at the monitor. I'm the only way to go. She goes, I'll take Patrick Swayze to lose. I mean, anything but go to Craig Shoemaker and try to pronounce Shoemaker, which everybody puts a mocker on there. But Paul Lynde never wrote me back. I can't believe it. But I do have a good story about that. Of course, we know why. He was a confirmed bachelor. You know, he was a little happy. Ho, 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 ho. The ascot might have been a giveaway, but no, I wasn't getting that when you're a kid. You know, I just thought he'd be my dad. But there was one guy I wrote a letter to, Tim McCarver. He was the catcher of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
And I said, oh, you could be my stepdad, and we could have catches in the backyard. Here's my mother in her belly dancing outfit. And so my mother was a belly dancer.
Really?
But anyway, Scheherazade, that was her other name. But anyway, people wonder why I'm a comedian. Anyway, so he never wrote me back. And then his broadcasting partner now is Joe Buck on Fox Sports, right? Told Joe Buck the story. Joe Buck, next time I see him, he hands me a ball, and it's signed. It says, "Dear son, time to grow up." Love, Dad, a.k.a.
awesome.
Tim McCarver. That's my
man.
best prized possession. So I finally do have a dad.
Wow. Did your mom
Tim
ever work
McCarver.
down there at the Marrakesh in Los Angeles?
No, she never did the Marrakesh. She only did my graduation party, which was a nightmare. My friends threw quarters at her. Mrs. Shoe, go, Mrs. Shoe. She's there, finger cymbals and veils. Ching. Here's a little treat for you and your friends. And, oh, they don't know this is an art form. They think it's Mrs. Stifler. Please stop. But, yeah, I was not destined to be an accountant with this background. Yeah, and the pot-smoking, growing grandmother. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Well, which would be legal today.
Well, not in Pennsylvania where we're from.
Okay.
No, they're still puritanical there. But they don't get that their puritanicals probably all grew. It was the third largest cash crop at one time. Did you know that?
No.
Cannabis, yeah.
Wow.
In America it was until William Randolph Hearst saw he demonized it. You know, I know this. I wrote a movie called Totally Baked. I don't smoke pot anymore or endorse it necessarily, but I certainly think you should see the movie and see both sides of it. But we ended up in exploring the movie. We couldn't find anybody who was anti-pot. There's no MAP, Mothers Against Pot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because when you're stoned, you know, like there's Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Right.
But there's no, when you're stoned, you're at a stop sign, you know, you go slower than a golf cart. So even if you did, it's like, really? You're
It's like Tim Conway when he walked across
Exactly.
the
Exactly. I mean, really. I mean, so it's funny. We couldn't find it, so we had to have an actor who was opposed to marijuana. But it's a very funny movie. It's called Totally Baked. You can get on Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that.
What is that called? That's not a rockumentary. What would you?
It's a pot-umentary. It's a pot-umentary. But we have have you? We have a lot of great actors there, and AC/DC does the music.
Really?
My buddy Brian is the lead singer.
Wow.
And we've been friends for a very long time. You know, I met him. He was in the front row of a comedy show. By the way, I'll be in Charlotte at the Comedy Zone, and so any rock stars that want to come there, you're perfectly welcome. I'll be there through Saturday. But and he was in the front row and in Florida, and everybody seemed to know him. And I started making fun of him. I had no idea it was, you know, he's wearing that hat. You know, that news. I said, "What are you, a newsboy from the 20s? Extra, read all about it." I started ripping on the guy. I have no idea. He's the lead singer of one of the greatest rock groups of all time. And I said, "How come everybody seems to know you? Are you the mailman?" I was like trying to get this. And he's really laughing. And that was like back in the mid 80s.
Wow.
So we've been friends ever since. And so I sent him the movie, The Rough Cut. And he goes, "Me son, it's brilliant. Can I do the music?" I said, "Well, let me think."
Yeah, really?
Let me think about that one, Brian. I'll get back to you. Can AC/DC do original music for my film? But yeah, it's the only place you can hear this music.
You've been around a lot of famous people. How do you eliminate that vibe of where they are a star? How do you keep them being just people that just happen to have a job?
Well, because I've been around it so long that I've known them and been in very unusual situations with them. I know that they're not a star, and no one is. No one is.
Right.
And if they are, it means they're a diva, and I won't hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you act like a star or think that you are one, you've got problems. You got a narcissistic issue, and you're not going to be like, I'm the same guy that hangs out with my kindergarten friends.
Yep.
No matter what I've got Emmys and all these awards and stuff like that. Hollywood doesn't matter. I'm not the same guy. Now that's who I'll hang out with, even if they are quote unquote stars. But I won't give them the time of day if they're like diva like.
But don't you think?
And a lot of them are. A lot of the real high celebrity ones, because that I learned, by the way, it's kind of an unusual little survey I've done, that the people have become famous. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of talent, because there's a lot of I'm a talented comedian, but I'm not famous.
Right.
But it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of most of the ones who have made it, the one thing they have in common is an undying focus on being famous. It's like the law of attraction. They've only set their sights on being famous. So therefore, they will use anybody they need to do along the way, do or be with or whatever. That's what they do, and they're uncompromising about it. So, like, I know a famous person, for instance, I knew her before, so she needed to know, like, the local Philadelphia booker, and she's buying him gifts and stuff like that. She wouldn't know him in a lineup today because she kept upping the level of, then she hangs out with, Madonna. You know what I mean? Like, so but she remained focused and sure enough became famous. And there's everyone I know, that's what happened to them.
So who would you make friends with? Stern on America's Got Talent or Stern on the radio show?
I actually know him.
Do you?
Well, I've been on his show about 5 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So,
off the air, he does give you the wink, wink. Like, this is all a joke and this is all fun to me. And he's playing a character, basically. I did a thing on his show called the Hollyweird Squares.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I flew a red eye to New York, and I had all these, you do show prep, when you do radio shows. So I had all this prep. Oh, I'll have him lead me into this and lead me into this. Oh, forget it. We get there, and he goes, we're doing something called the Hollyweird Squares or whatever it was. And I'm going, really? I said, I'm on the real Hollywood Squares. And he goes, oh, well, not this time. So they sent me into another room. And they had masking tape and cameras in front of all of us. Like on a desk, it said Craig Shoemaker, Crackhead Bob, Retard Gary. I'm going, what's going on here? Turns out I'm the only, like, quote, normal one. They had the KKK guy next to the angry black guy. I mean, it was like insane, this show. I'm going, what am I doing? And Tom Bergeron was the contestant. He was the host of Hollywood Squares at the time. And it was just it's this insane show. But I'll never forget the look on his face when I went into his studio after it was finished. He goes, you should have seen this. It was so funny. He was like a little kid. He goes, I had you all stacked up, and you see our monitors were stacked up like the Brady Bunch, like a tic-tac-toe board in his studio, and he was like really into it, like a kid. And that's when I really got to see, like, oh, he's having a good time with this. And it's a big wink, wink, and a lot of people don't understand that. So,
and don't you think that's the reason why you are the only comedian I've ever been to where I hurt a week after I saw you live? Because you put so much of your showmanship into it. You understand what showmanship is.
Yeah, I really do. I don't care if there's 2 people in the audience. I've never laid down on a show. It's always 100%. It's kind of old school like that. And, and I still am drawing people that want to see that.
Yeah.
The people that want to see a, quote, celebrity, there's those too. And every time they go to see the celebrity, they don't have the talent because they're busy doing other things. But this is something that I focused on since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. My first paid comedy gig was like junior year in high school. I've been doing it ever since. And, I have full passion for it. I started by doing impressions, Barney Fife, and he was one of my first impressions. I would watch the Andy Griffith Show and just, oh my God, I want to do something like that, make people laugh, because I'd see my mom laughing, at Barney Fife. My first comedy act ever was celebrities smoking pot in Mayberry. So I wonder how I wrote that bit. I'm in high school, you know what I mean? And they're handing me the thing, and it's like, wow, check this out. Got some Sensimilia over here. This one's seedless. Hey, check it out, Floyd. He's our dealer, here in Mayberry. I'm high. That's good. Reefer, Andy. How bad did Ann B? I even did Ann B. Andy, there are seeds in my marijuana. Andy. That's damn good pot right there, Floyd. I got the munchies. That's how it all started. Ernest T. Remember Ernest T?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody threw rock cocaine through my window.
You know, when you do these characters, you remind me a lot of Paul Lynde, because Paul Lynde used to say, you've got to become that person.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
I didn't realize
So when
that.
I see you doing these characters, I really see the Paul Lynde coming through you.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, I do. Every single character, it does take a full commitment. It doesn't, you don't just do the voice. I actually was the second, I came in second to do a game, Scarface. And you know who had to cast it was Pacino.
Really?
Because he can't do himself anymore. Because think about it. Well,
Pacino,
Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah. I'm dying over here. I'm with a guy who thinks Wyoming's a country.
And then he went, "Hoo-ah! Everything sounds like this." So it's like two different people, but Scarface was in the middle of that transition to
Oh, check this out.
so he talks like that now. But so I had to do him as Scarface in casting. So he cast it.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing this in front of him, and I fully, during that scene with the machine gun, with the cocaine, I fully exploded. Right, I literally had to take a Tylenol after. I had veins popping out of my neck. I was so into this character. Anything for a buck. Please hire me.
Say hello to my little friend.
I totally got into this thing. I mean, sorry, I just exploded your windows here, but I fully immerse myself in these characters. You know, I do in the movie Totally Baked. I actually do Morgan Freeman.
Really? That's the hottest voice right now.
In 1966, I entered the frame, left Shawshank Prison, wearing nothing but a set of muddy prison clothes and a rock hammer nearly worn down to the nub.
Do you just watch a lot of movies? I mean, what?
I don't actually. No.
How do you come up with these
guys?
guys?
Well, these days with kids, you know, I'm watching freaking SpongeBob. I can do that. Oh, hello, SpongeBob.
Patrick.
That's what I'm. What else am I gonna do? I might as well study the voices while I have to watch with these kids.
Why did Chelsea lately get the show and not you?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I do believe, you know, it's interesting. By the way, you're a really good interviewer. I have to tell you that.
Thank you.
No, you really are, because you ask questions that are never asked by anybody, which spawns answers that I've never said to anybody. And this is one of them. I believe that a lot of times people get shows these days, and this is very unfortunate, not based on talent, but based on being nasty and sarcastic and sardonic, and this is who gets Twitter followers. You know, drop an F-bomb whenever you can on there, and people are going to follow you because you're the dirtiest, most bawdy, crazy, wacky person. But I believe in structuring a joke. Right. You know, you structure a joke and you really work hard on not, you know, dropping the F-bomb just to drop the F-bomb. I'll throw that in there. I'm not a prude, but you know. Structuring a joke, you know, these things have become like old school, which is really weird. It's like, really? Well, funny is old school, you know, because a lot of the new school, there's the sense of self, therefore sense of humor, is very nasty and degrading to people. And look, I think she's really talented, right, but she's also very talented and has people on there at that. Mm-hmm. And that is what the new zeitgeist is. I mean, this is what's going on in today's society is, you know, I don't want to sound like an old fart. I remember when Pat Cooper came to a comedy club in Philadelphia, and he started on a rant. These kids today, what the 4 letter words? And he starts going on and on. And I'll never forget going, that old fart, because I was like the new guy. You don't know what you're talking about, old man. You should just, you know, crawl up under a rock already. Forget it. Make way for me. And now I'm that guy. I can't believe I'm that guy. I'm Pat Cooper. But, no, I mean, I do believe that it's a shame. It's actually a shame that people, you know, have to go for just the celebrity of it all and not look for true talent, you know. And that's the one thing, though, the people that do come to my show, I'm very proud of that. I get a standing ovation in places that tell me, oh, we've never seen one, and I'll get one every single show because people are going, wow, thank you for giving everything you got. Thanks for sharing your gift, which I do believe we should share our gift of laughter, which is the most healing thing. The other thing it doesn't get credit for. Laughter is the most spiritual healing thing that people don't realize. Everybody thinks you need to meditate and, pray in a certain way. Well, this is a great form of appreciation for being human. And thanking whatever your higher source is for this moment of clarity and purpose and fun and enjoyment of life and celebration of life. Why would we not treat every comedy club as such?
Yep.
And go congregate and be one. You don't care who's sitting next to you. They could be a different religion or different political belief. It doesn't matter. You're all as one, joined together, laughing and having this experience of like no other. And that's what I promise that I bring every single show is let's get together and let's hallelujah.
I swear that's the reason why I'm such your biggest fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Shoemaker.
Thanks,
Charlotte
Arrow.
Comedy Zone, CLTComedyZone.com to get your tickets.
And go to my Twitter page. I'm the Love Master. And on Facebook, you just go to Craig Shoemaker like page. And please listen to my podcast because we go way deep in there.
You do it from the studio there in L.A.?
I have a studio in L.A., and it is just, we've had Samuel L. Jackson. We have a young girl on our show said, weren't you in The Matrix? That was very embarrassing. But anyway, we have so much fun on this show. It's actually the most fun I've ever had.
And where do they get that podcast?
In anything I've ever done. CraigShoemakerShow.com, spelled like no mocker, just maker. And we go way deep, have great guests, and we actually explore their pain and see why they ended up in this profession. We go to a place that most people won't go, and I really enjoy it. And they do too. They like coming in. We have repeat guests and stuff, and we're having a blast. So, CraigShoemakerShow.com and rate us on iTunes and all that kind of stuff. So keep us on the air.
I love it. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you.